What is up, everybody? We're back. I'm George Mossey. I'm here with my co-host, Marshana Dahlia. 90 Day Fiance, Before the 90 Days, Season 5, Episode 10. This is part 2 of the podcast. We were gone for 2 weeks, and we're back, and this episode was action-packed. Every minute of it had incredible drama. So let's talk about Mike and Amena. So Mike had returned to New York. He was working on his cleanliness. He was working on dealing with being away from Amena, and he's noticed some distance between them. She's not texting as much, she's not calling as much, she's not responding as much. But he does reveal to us that she has been asking him to pay for a breast augmentation and liposuction. And I don't know her reason for it. I'm assuming before the wedding, she wants to look a certain way. His father and grandfather are like, you don't need to be paying for that. And then we also find out he's still paying half of her rent. Not the entire amount anymore, but half. So how do you feel about this? What do you think is going on?
Okay, first of all, let's understand that Jimena lives in Colombia, and in Colombia, it's very commonplace for women to have plastic surgery, to have breast augmentation, tummy tucks, and things like that.
It's cheaper over there too, right?
Yes, absolutely. So, for her to want this surgery, it makes perfect sense to me. She's also a mother of 2 children. If you're a mom out there and you've had these children, you understand what they can do to your body. So a tummy tuck to me is not even necessarily cosmetic post children, because it's just, listen, if I was the kind of person to have some surgery, I'd do it too. And even the breast augmentation might not necessarily be cosmetic in a sense. Yes, it's a cosmetic procedure, but she knows she's not having any more kids, right? Because she's had her tubes tied, cut, burned. So she knows, I'm done having my children. I want my body back. And even though to us, she may appear to be in like really great shape, she has to feel good in her own skin. So let's just start there. Now, Jimena, okay, I gotta come for you, sis. Because I don't know who Jimena thinks she's talking to. Okay. So she wants us to believe that she got the money for the surgery from a loan shark. No, loan shark must be code for the new man you met or one of your exes that you've been talking to while Mike was away. Her entire disposition when it comes to Michael is one of disdain. She's just grossed out by him. She's so over him. She's all the way over him. And he could tell when he was in the States, because he said he's going back to rekindle the relationship because she's been distant. He got there, she was distant, she was rude, she was nasty. Like, Jimena, if you don't want this man, turn him loose. Because, well, no, it's not a matter of if you don't want this man. It's obvious that she doesn't want him. And I don't believe it's a loan shark. I believe it's one of these exes. Maybe one of the baby daddies got out of jail. Maybe it's some new guy that she met that she's swindling. But even in the previews for next week, we see her being like, well, you didn't pay for my boobs. It's like, well, so that's all he can do for you is pay for your breasts? Like, I just feel like it's so distasteful now. Like before, when he was paying her bills and helping her from the States, and I didn't mind that at all. Not at all. I don't see anything wrong with a man being with a woman, seeing her in need and wanting to fill a void, or even if she's not in need, just providing. I have no problem with that. But now it really starting to feel like a little bit of a quid pro quo, a little this for that, little, pay me for. And I don't like that. It's not a good look. I agree. At first I wasn't agreeing with his grandfather and his father, but now I do. Seeing her behavior towards him, I agree with them. He needs to stop.
Well, I think that they made a good point. If you stop sending the money, see how they react, because if the money stops and the way they treat you and they don't want to talk to you anymore and it stops, it will show you what their true intentions are. So maybe skip a few months, don't send her money for rent. Don't send her, and see if the communication is still there, if the connection is still there. Because like you said, when the money runs out, the love runs dry, and then you know that it was a scam all along. So I'm hoping, well, I said at the beginning of the season, there's a 100% chance that Mike is going to get his heart broken. I still stand by that. I've always believed that Mike is a good guy, and he was doing too much. There was too much being done for her from the start, and I just felt like a true relationship with a true connection, there doesn't need to be so much money exchange for it to be real. I just always felt that way. So let's talk about Ella and Johnny. So Twitter is saying that Ella is being unreasonable. She wants Johnny to go to Dubai, which he already has a ticket for, but she went and bought a ticket to Dubai without telling him that she was buying a ticket to Dubai, and she wants to meet him there for 2 weeks. The catch is, if he returns to China from being in Dubai for 2 weeks, he would need to quarantine for 5 weeks. So he feels that's a long time to be out of commission, but he did already put in his notice from work. So I'm not exactly sure why he doesn't want to quarantine for 5 weeks. So I don't really know. I don't have all of the information. I know that there must be a reason why he doesn't want to quarantine for 5 weeks, because he's put in his resignation from work because he thought he was going to be there, but then COVID happened and then that stopped everything. What do you think is going on? Do you think he just doesn't want to meet her?
Okay, I do believe that he doesn't want to meet her. Okay, let's just start with
Really?
that. Like, I think he's going to find every excuse to move the goalposts. I do believe that. However, his reasons are legitimate. Okay, they are very, very, very legitimate. I was in the United Arab Emirates, particularly in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi. And I was going back and forth between Dubai and Abu Dhabi when the pandemic hit in March of 2020, when life started shutting down all around us. And when I went to DXB, the Dubai International Airport, to leave to come back to the United States, I was stopped at security because I have a Chinese visa. Okay.
Oh,
And
okay.
it was instantly like, oh, wait a minute. You have a Chinese visa. You have a 10-year Chinese visa. I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah. You've been to China? Totally. You've been to China. Love China. What's the problem? And they were like, well, when was the last time you were in China? And I'm like, okay, 2017 at the end of the year. And they were like, oh, okay. All right, fine. So there were particular places, like there was particular protocols at the airport if you had recently been to China, had planned on traveling to China, as to whether or not you could get back into China. When you do travel to China now, I haven't done it, but my good friends in China have done it. They've gone back and forth from China to other places around the world. And you do have to quarantine. And you have to quarantine in a hotel that's like, the government says, like, hey, this is where you can quarantine. You can't just be like, okay, I'm going to go quarantine at the Ritz-Carlton. So there's like specific ways that they were managing COVID. I think she's being a lot. She doesn't understand. Also, not to be funny, Ella's the kind of girl, and based on the things her mother said, you ain't never been around the world. You haven't traveled. I mean, I doubt you even had a passport before this or any stamps. If I'm wrong, Ella, get at me. Jump in the comments, okay? Correct me if I'm wrong. But you can tell when people aren't very worldly and very globally minded that they don't understand certain things. That being said, I do think all things being equal, if the pandemic weren't a thing, he wasn't going to come to see you anyway.
Really? See,
That's how I feel.
that's what people on Twitter feel as well. And she did give him an ultimatum last night. She said that if you don't do this trip for 2 weeks and come meet me, she's gonna start seeing other people in the US. And
Absolutely.
I don't see if that's a real threat, because she's in the beginning of the season, she said that she didn't have any luck finding people in the US. She couldn't find men that were interested and that would treat her right. So I feel like that might be an empty threat. You know what I'm saying? Like just trying to get his attention. Right. Yeah. She wants to get his attention, and that might be a good way to get his attention. He did feel that he didn't want her to, he talked to his friend and he said, I don't want her to see other men. I don't want her to, you know, not be serious about us. So that might have put a little fire under him. But again, we don't know how this is going to turn out, because COVID over there was a lot worse than it was here first. So we don't know when this was filmed exactly. So we're going to have to wait and see how that goes. So let's talk about Ben and Mahogany. I want to make sure we have enough time to talk about it, because Mahogany is real. And not only is she real, but it has left me with more questions than I had when I thought she was fake. Everything made more sense to me when I felt that she wasn't real. So now that she's real, I'm even more confused than where we started from, because it's the same girl, even though the pictures were very heavily filtered. It is the same girl. She speaks pretty good English, very, very good English. And I'm just confused. So all of the stories that Ben was telling us, they might have truth to them. And it was just so easy to poke holes in Ben's story. I don't even know where to go from here. Where do you go from here?
To me, when people are still like, oh, Mahogany is real, I'm still kind of like, wait a minute, is she? Like, I don't know. You know me. My experience in reality TV, having done 3 shows, understanding how production can be, I don't know. Now, that's just me being skeptical. I have no proof. I don't know anything. I don't even know what the internets are saying. That's just my experience in reality TV just coming through. That being said, assuming this, all things are equal, right? And this is Mahogany, and that it was just some really doctored up photos and stuff. It's given a lot of shadiness. Her English is too well. It's given escort. it's given like I might do this professionally, because remember he sent her like $1,000.
Well, and I do want to say, when people say they sent someone money, it's usually double that. They don't want their friends to judge them. So let's go with 2,000. But go ahead.
It probably might have been $5,000. It's given Tinder swindler. It's given something very nefarious. Her English is that good. Nah, Sway. Like she's been entertaining, men from the United States, with this thing. The reason why she didn't meet you the other previous times is because she's running her scam en masse. Hello. Just because mahogany is real doesn't mean the love, the affection, or anything else is real. Okay? It's given.
Given what you say there, he kept saying, I love you to her. And we saw the text because he showed us the text. She would say, I love you constantly. She didn't say it once to his face.
There, exactly. She was saying, I want to have children with you. Via text, you're the one I want. Oh, I don't know. It's given scam artist, okay? It's given.
It's fishy.
I'm feeling like I'm being scammed.
It was so fishy for me too, because the car was really nice that she got there in, and everything was just fishy. And it took her so long to get there, and she claimed that was her hometown where he was, and it took her so long to get there. It makes me wonder if she was coming from somewhere farther away, and where she told him she lived is not where she actually lives. It was a bit farther. That's why it took her so long to get there. He waited 2 hours before she arrived, and this is supposed to be in the same little village, where she lives. So everything is just, like I said, I have a million questions now. I only had 3 or 4 questions when I thought she was a catfish. Now I have a million questions. I can't really pinpoint what's going on, and Twitter has a million different theories. I just want to see where this goes. But she did say, as they were leaving in her interview, he is more serious about this than I am about this. So she said that caught me. It really made me think. She said, yes, she said, well,
artist.
Exactly. She said, I would need to think about this. He is way more serious about this relationship with me than I am with him.
It's given Anna Delvey, okay? It is given something else. So it's still fake, even though she might be real.
Well, he did say that he wanted to meet her parents. And if this is a scam, I wonder if he's going to meet her parents or just 2 random people.
On the scam. Her parents could be benefiting from this money that she's pulling in from these men in mass.
That's true.
We watched Tinder Swindler. Everybody had to be in on the gig, right? The baby mother with the child, with the Peter, with the bodyguard. All of these people had to be in on the gig. So just because, even if she meets the parents, I still wouldn't be convinced.
That's true. That's true. All right, guys. Well, we're going to have to wait and see what happens. I'm so excited for this season. We're 10 episodes in. I don't know how many episodes there's going to be. I heard a rumor that there's 15. And I'm excited to see where this Ben and Mahogany story goes, because I'm not even convinced Mahogany's her real name, guys. So I'm just ready to see where this goes. So make sure you guys are here and you're live tweeting with us next week. No more breaks. We only have to wait a week to see what's going on. Again, thank you so much for joining us. I'm George Mossey. This is my co-host, Marshana Dahlia. We're going to talk to all of you really soon.